got some more Nevada work in, did some situational work, and they came out and had a good practice. So just like where we're at this point, I think we're getting healthy. Yeah, I think they're getting their legs back under them, and we're closing in on that first game. So the excitement's starting to build. So it was a good day for us.
Do you have an idea when Mora is going to be back on practice?
He was here today.
Actually practicing.
He was here today.
How's health been, at this point in the preseason compared to last season?
A lot better. Like a lot less guys missed practice up in San Bernardino.
Mm-hmm. Do you attribute that just to the heat or not going live as much?
I think they're in better shape. I think they're bigger, faster, stronger. I think Coach Alosi's done an amazing job with them, and I think, they had a full off season with them. They knew what to expect. They got themselves physically prepared, and I think that's what I attribute it to. Because we practiced basically the same, you could take last year's schedule and match it with this year's schedule almost exactly.
It seems like there's a lot more contact between Shaq Evans and Ishmael Adams in one-on-one drills than I've seen in other pairings. How do you feel about that?
I feel good. Those guys get after it. Two really good players competing their tails off. You love to see that, There's a couple of starters in the Pac-12 that get the chance to battle every day. It's just making them better. I think it's fantastic.
Is that a coach's choice to match them up just because they're both probably going to be starters?
Well, they both are starters.
Okay.
No, because, that's how it works. The ones go typically against the ones, like Fabian's on the other side going against Jordan Payton or, Devin Lucian. It's pretty typical how everybody practices.
Devin has been a lot less vocal, it seemed like, this fall than he was in the spring. Is that kind of a product of him maturing, or is that,
I would probably say yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. He's growing up. He's getting older. He's experiencing more things in his life. I don't know. I've been really impressed with him, from that standpoint, and from the way he's prepared, or the way he's performed as well. Yeah, I think so. I think he's just growing up, I guess. And I don't want that to sound like a negative.
Yeah.
Like he was immature. He's growing up. It's good to see.
Mm-hmm. The wide receivers, does that group maybe have more personality than some of the other groups on the team? It seems like they're pretty vocal, flashy, kind of.
Each group, it's funny, has their own personality on a football team. To me, the goofiest group is always the offensive line. Nobody ever sees it because nobody ever talks to them. They're just kind of over there by themselves. But they're usually the goofiest group. DBs and receivers, they're usually a little bit, sometimes full of themselves. But I don't know. They all seem to get along pretty well. They all hang out together.
What's the dullest position?
I think that the dullest position, honestly, is running back. My experience tells me that running backs are usually kind of dull.
Why?
I don't know. Maybe because they get hit so often. I don't know. But I was about to say kickers and punters, but who knows what they're doing over there? Running backs, but O-line guys are always so close knit, and they're kind of goofy, and they're big, and sometimes a little awkward, and they're funny, and they like to just hang around together. And I don't know if I told you this story before, but I can tell it now. Is talking about the offensive line is last year before the Rice game. So I do bed check the night before games. I go into like 3 or 4 offensive lineman rooms, and there's no one in them. I'm getting pissed, I walk into Baca's room, and the whole offensive line is in there, okay? It smells like, it's just a most rancid smell you've ever had. Baca, they've all got their shirts off, okay? They're laying around the bed, and on the bed, Baca's got a shower cap on. And I don't know, they're not playing cards, they're not playing dominoes, they're just laughing. And it was the funniest thing you've ever seen. It was like a sweatshop, of these big, gigantic offensive linemen without their shirts on, farting. It was just unbelievable. And that's kind of what offensive linemen do. So, I laughed. I didn't, I laughed how it was funny, and then it was kind of became a tradition every week. He said, "Hey, can we be in Jeff's room for bed check?" I said, "Yeah, of course you can."
With the amount of pass rushers you have on this team, what's kind of the number one trait you value most in pass rushers?
I think it's different. You know, I think you have to have different types of pass rushers. Obviously, speed on the outside is important, but quickness on the inside, you know, being able to beat a guard, especially if you get singled up. You know, when we play in our nickel, we'll put a nose kind of in that gap between the guard and the center and try to get a guy like Cassius matched up on a guard. Last year, Oa or Cassius. Then you want some guys that can bull rush as well, you know, and push the pocket straight back. So I think you're not looking necessarily for one trait, but a number of traits and different guys. And I think you've kind of got that mix. You know, Cassius has, to me, unusual quickness on the inside. You know, Anthony Barr and Deion Hollins coming off the edge are as quick as, you know, probably any two that you'll find in college football. You know, stuff to produce, but they have it in them. You know, Aaron Wallace can rush the passer. Miles Jack can rush the passer. You can get some push inside out of Eddie. You can get some push inside out of Ellis. So I kind of like the mixture that we have. Yeah, I do.
How much further along are the wide receivers as a whole than they were at the beginning of last year?
Oh, a lot. Yeah, a lot further along. You know, I think a lot of it has to do with being in the system for a whole year. Being with the same quarterback. You remember last year, this time we decided on a quarterback, right? We decided about 16 days in or something. But, you know, they've had a whole off season, or a whole season last year with Brett, a whole off season now, a whole camp. Doing the same thing with the same guy throwing it. So they have a better feel. You know, just taken to the technique that Coach Yarbs has taught them. I just see a really solid group. And then I think you add in the fact that Devin Fuller is now a full-time receiver, you know, and his skill set, it just makes it a really solid group. And I mean, every day it seems like, and you guys watch it as much as I do, Shaq or Devin come up with, or both of them, some spectacular catch. You know, you hope that carries over into games.
What did you notice the cornerback really started to play for Fabian?
Like late in the season last year, and he wasn't getting a lot of reps in games. I think he got a few snaps. In practice, he just started to look more comfortable. He learned how to backpedal. He was patient and bump and run. You know, you see a lot of corners out there that look really pretty when they get off the bus. They look great in their stance. They got a sweet backpedal. They can flip their hips. They can run. They can get in position to make a play, but then they can't make the play. And the thing that started to stand out about Fabian is, and I think it probably has to do with the fact that he played so much offense, is he can find the ball in the air quickly and he can make a play on it. And that's really what it comes down to, is winning at the moment of truth. And he does that. And then he has that athletic arrogance that you're looking for in that position as well. I mean, he doesn't seem to be fazed by much. If he gets beat, he kind of goes and lines up again and competes again. So, you know, once again, it'll be interesting to see how he responds to, you know, a real game environment. But I think he'll do well. Okay?
Cool.